hold up just one moment. I am, surprise, posting on my story. There we go. Okay. Didn't work the first time. I was like, brother, please. You know the way it be. Okay. I just do this real quick. Put it over there. Okay. That's one down. One more to go. There has to be a better way to do this. I really need to figure that out. That's okay. It's part of the charm. This is what happens when you tune in live. You get to see whatever you would call this. Okay. Perfect. I don't like the lighting. Wow, that is orange. Okay, well, never mind. I do like the lighting, I guess. Okay. Hello, everybody. So we got a really fun one today. Welcome to the first Colorway Wednesday of the week of February. Not the week of February. What am I talking about? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, there's only one person watching right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and restart, and I'm going to edit this out. Yay! I love the power of technology. Wow. Goodness gracious. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Colorway Wednesday of February. We got a really fun one today. I mean, I'm biased. I'm always going to say we have a fun one, but I think we have an especially fun one today, as our design for today is specifically an awareness ribbon. As some people may know, February is Cancer Awareness Month. So I thought it would be really nice to do an awareness ribbon coloring page. And maybe like each month I'll try to find a different awareness ribbon coloring page and we'll color for different things, right? So this is our page of the day. Perfect, yes. On the bottom here, we have information about the artist who made it. The artist who made it is named Sarah Renee Clark, which is super cool. But Sarah Renee Clark, if you look her up, she has a whole website full of unique coloring pages that you can download that are hand-drawn by her. They're super cool. We're probably going to use some more of her stuff because genuinely it's incredible. But with this month being Cancer Awareness Month, I wanted to go ahead and make sure my color scheme kind of matched with that. So I am currently... Sorry, my phone was going off. I'm being a bad not podcast host, but pretty much podcast host. So with that being said, I went ahead and looked up because I wasn't actually sure off the top of my head. I know like specific awareness colors. Oh my gosh, hi Jamie. Hi Jamie, I love you, Jamie. If you don't know Jamie, you're going to. She might be appearing on this next week. Anywho, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the awareness ribbon that's just for cancers of any kind, just specifically in order to like, I didn't want to like pick one color and only do one whenever it's the whole month is about any of the types. So the color for any is lavender specifically, which leads me to what we're coloring with actually, which I already opened preemptively out of habit. So we're going to be coloring with my Ohuhu markers. I love these things because I have so many lavenders. And so I thought that would be really cute. I may also mix in some pink just for some variation. But yeah, like, oh, it's so overexposed. We've got a couple of different lavenders here. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't have a ton that I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about this week. But I knew whenever like a bunch of my pageant friends had been posting about the fact it comes Cancer Awareness Month. And I was like, ooh, that's important. So I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that for a bit. But I personally have not been affected by cancer. Like none of my loved ones have had it that I know of. So I haven't had the same kind of life experiences as some people may have. I know of people who have fought through it. I've heard stories, obviously. But I think it's just really important to like still continue to be aware in any sort of sense of it. Like obviously most adults know that cancer exists, but it's important to do little things like this to show support. I know that in Oklahoma City we have a charity called Tenaciously Teal. Tenaciously Teal specifically is an organization built to empower, I think it's technically traditionally women undergoing chemotherapy. They do this adorable thing where they make care packages for chemo patients, which is just genuinely like, it's beautiful. Like the bags that they send the care packages in are typically handmade. Like they have instructions on their website on how to hand make packages, and like, it's so cute. I actually volunteered for them the day before heading to nationals this last year, which rocked, but it was also like maybe I should have rested the day before nationals. That probably would have been wise. But it was good to get to do something that technically inadvertently helped other people, because I was helping with a fundraiser event rather than like actually like executing their mission. But yeah, so there's that. The art supplies I'm using today. So I printed my coloring page because I had the epiphany last week that I can print on whatever paper I want because I have a printer. But I had the realization that I can print on any paper. So I'm currently working on a sketchbook paper that is a 9x12, I believe. It is from a recycled sketchbook. So essentially what that just means is like, not like I bought this sketchbook secondhand, it's been recycled. No. It's legitimately just oh my gosh. Hi guys, I'm not good at multitasking today. I've been in class since 8:30. I know I say that every single live stream the second I mess up, but I'm going to reiterate it again anyway, because I can. Goodness gracious. But a recycled sketchbook typically implies that the papers that are within it are made out of recycled paper. So primarily papers that have been recycled by previous people were compiled into making a new piece of paper. Typically how recycling works, but might as well mansplain. So yeah, we're working with that just because I thought it'd be fun to not use just like traditional printer paper, especially with our medium we're using today. The medium we're using today, I don't know if I'm technically allowed to say it per YouTube regulation, so I'm just going to call them A-based markers. A-based markers are markers that are made not primarily, but they have a base in them that is typically considered to be an adult beverage. Obviously, these markers are 100% safe for anyone of any age to use. It's just like how that stuff can be used for medicine. It's used for art in this situation. There we go. Good job, me. But yeah, no, I was talking to my dear friend Jamie earlier today, and she said something that made me go, I can use my A-based markers. Oh my gosh. I specifically have the Ohuhu brand, which is a very goofy sounding name, I know, but I love them dearly. They're phenomenal. They're also way cheaper than the really fancy ones. I actually can't even remember the name of Copic. Copic markers are insanely fancy and insanely expensive for a good reason. They're nice. My childhood best friend actually had a bunch. I'm assuming she still has them. But at least last time I checked, she had a bunch. And they were so nice. I remember she let me draw with one of them one time, and I was like, oh my goodness. because I do love my Ohuhus. Like I said, that's the brand. But they are, they do die a little faster. They drain a little quicker, which isn't bad. I mean, you can buy refill cartridges. I just haven't done that. And I think they've technically upgraded color schemes and stuff like that since I bought these. Or not, I didn't buy them. My mom gave them to me for Christmas. Truthfully, with how detailed this one is, this one being this coloring page, I'm probably not going to finish it on stream. I will probably like wrap up at some point here on stream and then like get some dinner and then proceed to work on this instead of doing my schoolwork. It's not really that crucial schoolwork. It'll be fine. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I'll still get it done. I literally just need to get little pieces of paper and write 3 things I like about each of my classmates, which if you know me, that won't be hard. I'm a very big note-giving girly. I'm also the one who decided to do this, so I would hope it wasn't hard. Because otherwise, why did I decide to do it? I mean, okay. If you know me, you know that I do have a tendency to overestimate my artistic capabilities. I will often like start off a project and then keep escalating it and being like, oh, it'll be so easy to make it look like this. It'll be so easy. And then I'll realize that I don't have enough time in the day. Like my internship this last year, I wanted to learn how to fold origami letters. I wrote notes for each of the girls at my internship, and I wanted to fold them into like little letters. And I was like, yeah, I can probably learn how to do that in an hour. And there's 5 of them. Like, that's not that hard. However, I don't know origami. I've never done origami fully other than making like paper shurikens whenever I was like, 11 maybe? Shout out like a Ninjago. That's why I made paper shurikens. I thought they were cool as heck. And they were. But I also had to have my mom help me on that. So I don't know. Let's be real. I probably didn't actually do that much of it myself. But yeah, so I kind of decided that I was capable of fully doing origami, and then quickly realized that was not the case at all. Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was really funny to have that moment of realization after I started and being like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? We'll get better about it eventually. I'm telling myself it's something that'll be easier once I'm out of college. We'll see how true that ends up being, but you know the way it is. But yeah. One of the other really cool things about this artist is she actually has a whole section on her website that goes over a whole bunch of unique artists who make coloring pages. So there's like a whole database there. Database, depends on what you how you want to pronounce it. But it's super neat. I love it so much. It is a very valuable tool that I will be using a lot more. But yeah. Let's see. I'm going to avoid using this dark purple a lot more. Let's try. This one's 75. Okay, guys, don't let me forget. I'm on 75. Because I don't remember which the first one I used was. Typically, when you buy marker brands like this, they have numbers for each of the colors rather than like a name. So then that way you can quickly order cartridges. I know that there's actually a couple of like fancy pen companies that do the same. So if you're a big stationery girly and you really like nice pens, that may be a thing for you. If you haven't checked it out already, you should. And if you have, Good for you. Goodness gracious. But yeah. Let's see. I don't know what else to talk about. I've been doing so great. Been talking a whole 16 minutes. Well, not really. Because, every time I start this live stream, it's like a solid good couple seconds before I actually start talking. I gotta post on the Instagram. But I don't know. I'm definitely very glad to be doing this week. It's been a rough week so far, to say the least. It hasn't been like a bad week by any means, but it's just been rough. So this is very nice. I have found that genuinely I started this project, I guess. Yeah, project. I'll call it a project. I started this like thinking it would just be a really good thing to do for my platform. But I've learned that it's actually really good for me individually. Like, I have to sit down once a week and be creative. Which, don't get me wrong, like, I literally have a class that's all we do is we sit there and be creative. Like, that's most of what I do, but it's different whenever it's not in a class, not for a grade. And it's like it's not just for me, but it's pretty much just for me. It's really nice. I forget how freeing that can be, which is really goofy, I know. This is quite literally my entire platform, but that's beside the point. But yeah. Goodness gracious. I've been saying goodness gracious a lot. And I don't know why. It's not like I ever said anything like, I don't know. Like, I can't even think of what I said before goodness gracious. Like, what? I know goodness gracious is replacing something else I would say, but I don't know what. But it's funny. It makes me sound like a little Southern grandma. I like that. I should do one of these here live streams with a fully Southern accent. That'd be pretty good. I mean, okay, this isn't a fully Southern accent. This is like a West Texan, I think. A very exaggerated one, but that's beside the point. Fun fact, accents and dialects, not the same thing. It's beside the point. Unrelated to coloring, but yes, we are doing cool things. What else are we up to? I'm currently working on my honors thesis. I don't think I've actually talked about that much on here, but essentially an honors thesis is what you have to do in order to get an honors degree. Even though I'm a theater major, I decided to be extra and attempt to get an honors degree. I say attempt because it's been a bit rough. The degree plan isn't really built for arts majors, and they're working at my university on making it where it is beneficial for arts majors, and it's not like 30 times the amount of work for said art majors. But it is what it is. You win some, you lose some, and sometimes you still win some. But it's pretty exciting stuff. It's always really distracting whenever I'm working with these oohoo-hoos because it's really satisfying to watch the ink. Again, I genuinely cannot wait for whenever this setup gets like a little upgrade and I can have like a little camera that's set up that I can like show you actively what I'm coloring. Like, I really want to do that. Just because I think that'd be so cute for you guys to be able to like also just actively see as I'm working on it rather than just my little progress updates I do sometimes. Just because I know for some people, like, maybe making art yourself isn't really your thing, but like watching it get made is really satisfying. Or at least that's what the Facebook comments on all the Facebook reels I watch say. So Because I don't know about y'all. I get a lot of painting, coloring, Facebook reels. Sometimes I get like baking ones, like, or the DIY life hacks that are supposed to be really bad just to make you mad. Um, like I get a lot of those as well, which is really funny to me. But it's probably because I click on them because they're really funny to me. So I understand why I get them. I just think it's really funny that I do still get them. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. I don't know about y'all. I love The Color Purple. The musical as well. Believe it's also a film. Pretty sure it's also a book. But I mean like the actual like hex codes. Like the hues of purple. I think they're so fun. It's such a good color. I think a lot of colors can have a lot of different meanings in all sorts of different interpretations, right? Like, if I recall correctly, in different cultures, colors have different meanings. So I'm pretty sure in, I could be wrong. Pretty sure in Chinese culture, it's like red is a very lucky color. And then I want to say in a different culture, it's the opposite. Like that's one of the most unlucky colors you could wear or associate with. I'm not positive on that. I know more about like the language of flowers. That's more my forte. I think flower language is so interesting. I don't like if you've never gone down this rabbit hole, please, 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 I beg you to look into it. It is so fun seeing all these different interpretations of what flowers mean and also what their colors mean. Because it can be like, if someone, this is not actually correct, by the way, but if someone gives you a pink carnation, it means they love you with all their heart. And if someone gives you an orange carnation, they want you to stub your left toe. That's not actually true, but it's genuinely like sometimes low-key like that. And I think that's so funny that just a slight color difference in the language of flowers can genuinely like make or break the message. But I don't think that many people genuinely like check the flower color stuff. I know I don't. When I get bouquets, I don't look up each of the flowers and find their meaning in flower language unless someone like gave me a bouquet and like told me to. I would do that then, and I would actually cry because that would be the cutest thing ever. But that's also just because I think the language of flowers is so silly and so fun. But I highly recommend looking into it. I know that roses, topical because our coloring page has them, but roses often have a lot of different interpretations with the colors, but also a lot of different countries have different, like, roses are typically a good sign, good omen, good symbol, token, whatever you want to call it. They're typically good, but there's so many differing like interpretations of what they could be. And it's just, I don't know. It's so cool. It's so cool. That's one of those things that I tell myself I would research more if I had more time. But at the same time, I have researched a decent amount. So clearly I do have more time than I think, but you know, it's whatever. I'm just trying to survive senior year by this point, and that's all that matters. Because we are succeeding. But, all right, okay. I just finished another rose, so here's my progress so far. Quite cute. I quite like how it's turning out. One of the reasons I really like A-based markers is primarily, honestly, just the pop of color and like the solidness of the color. I love a good coloring pencil, as you guys know. I love me a good coloring pencil piece. I love stuff like that. But there's something about just like the cohesive almost solid colors that aren't quite solid because they're still so obviously like done by like a marker. Like it doesn't look like someone just printed it off, right? I love supplies that make stuff look like that. Hence why I like brought out the watercolors last week, is because I love me some watercolors. Primarily just because they're that fun. But you know how it is. All right. Pretty good progress. I always get so scared anytime I take a drink on stream that I'm gonna like choke. And like now that I've said it, I'm definitely going to choke at some point, but it'll be okay. I'll be fine. My roommate's home. I can call her for help. But I won't have to. But yeah. I don't know about y'all. I often think about the what ifs, right? And like the, oh my gosh, like here's the worst thing that could happen. And that's definitely what's about to happen, right? Like in one of my classes earlier today, we were giving little presentations. And one of my friends, his presentation included like he had the lights turned off, on and off, like consistently throughout the whole thing. Like anytime he clapped his hands, the lights would turn off. And then he would do it again, and then the lights would turn back on, right? Lather, rinse, repeat. And so it was a really cool concept because like he was like telling us a story, and he was using it as a way to like easily portray different characters without doing a costume change, which was really fun. But so we have these things in the theater called acting blocks. An acting block is typically a cube made out of wood. That's like probably a bit more than a foot tall. It's like about this big. That's pretty good. Yes. And so it's roughly a foot. And so the whole point of actors blocks is they kind of just can stand in place of things. You can use them for all sorts of different things. You can make it into a makeshift desk, or you can pretend they're a table, or you can stand on them for whatever reason. They can be chairs, all that stuff. So my friend, he was using them as like a standing area. And so he stood on one, or he was standing on one. He clapped his hands, the light went off. And as the light was going off, because it's multiple lights in that room, so you can like see the lights go away slowly. He steps off, and the cube shakes in a way that made us all think it was about to tip over and he was about to fall down. And so I 100%, the first thought that went into my mind was that he was going to fall and like hit his face on another acting block, and it was going to be really gnarly, which it wasn't. So that was great. But it was a stressful time. It was really funny though, because like everyone was freaking out. And then we just heard his voice. I cannot remember for the life of me what he said, but he said something pretty much being like, oh my gosh, calm down. Like, it was so funny. He was so annoyed at us for being worried about his well-being. He wasn't actually annoyed, but goodness gracious. Alrighty. That's cute. That's real cute. I'm on 77. I thought I was on 75. When did I put 75 down? 75's over there. Great. Okay. I should be narrating these more so I can like ask chat for things. I'm on 84 now. Yeah, one of the fun things about coloring with these is genuinely you do not have to pay that much attention. Just let yourself get creative. Let yourself get goofy. Like, I don't know. I know that a lot of people, myself included, often get stuck in this headspace of things have to be perfect. They have to look amazing first try. They have to be perfect. They have to be well done. But in all actuality, that like could not be further from the truth. I can tell I've used this marker a lot back in my days that I would use these markers a ton, because it's struggling. We may use this for only one flower. But I don't know. There's something so freeing about giving yourself permission to create something subpar, I guess. That's something we play with a lot in my acting classes and whatnot, is just giving ourselves permission to feel goofy or mess up. Which is a little bit of a difficult concept some days. Some days are easier than others, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, it's honestly a really freeing mindset to remember that, like, it's genuinely okay to not be good at something. Because I can be pretty bad about that. Not that I'm like good at everything I do, but I hate not being good at things. Like that is one of my biggest things that like irks me and will like make me really frustrated, is when I feel like I'm not good at something. Because I just like being so good. I love being good. I love being amazing and talented and smart. I'm kidding. I mean, not that I love it, but I'm kidding that I am. I'm just like chill like that, I guess. Goodness. This marker is struggling so hard, but I don't want to switch marker mid-flower. So I'm going to try to make it last. Oh no, it's like dying so bad now. Maybe I should order some replacement cartridges. Especially since I'm doing this more often. Because, yeah. When I first got really into art and stuff like that, I mean, I've always been into art, but whenever I first got like really into making physical media, like non-performance art, you know, and like was not just doing it for funsies, like I was trying to make like actual pieces. I would use these a lot. Like for every drawing I did, I would fully color it, which was a lot of fun. I miss drawing. I know I say that every time, but I definitely miss drawing. But hopefully I'll have more time for it someday. And by that I mean I won't have a super hectic schedule that is unpredictable at any given moment. But like, goodness gracious, today I got out of class at 5:20, and then I had a meeting at 5:30, and then at 6:10 I left that meeting to walk all the way to my car, which was pretty far away. But then I was talking with my pal, and then once I got done talking to my pal, then another pal showed up, and then I was like, oh my gosh, hey Diva. So then we were talking for a little bit, and then I like went to my car, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have 30 minutes before I'm supposed to be live streaming. And so I was like, I gotta get home. I gotta print everything. I'm not gonna be using this one anymore. It's cute. It's very cute, but it's a bit of a struggle. One of the things I really love about Ohuhu is, so there's two different caps. You can't fully see it right now. I'm going to do the influencer thing as if that's going to do anything. But so there's two different ends, actually. A lot of markers like this tend to be double-sided. There is a chisel tip, which is typically a like flat chisel, stuff like that. I genuinely don't know how to use these well. And then there's the fine tip. This is what I've been using to color. The fine tips, more often than not, are better at creating a solid color and look, whereas the chisel tends to make a more wishy-washy look, or like if you want it to look a little incomplete, or it's like a primer coat, that's what you want to go with. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's see. I try not to put the same shade of purple on a flower right next to a different flower of the exact same shade, but it gets a little difficult when you don't just. I should have just worked from one area. That would have been wise. That's okay. And like I said, that is why we are letting this be a little messy, because this show would not be fun if all I did was ruminate on all the things that are going wrong. But goodness, I need to like stop allowing myself. There's sometimes I'm on this show that I'm like tempted to kind of just go in silence for the entire duration. Not the entire duration, but like the remainder of the time, just to see how that goes. Because part of me is like, well, could be fun. And then not only could it be fun, but then also then I could like walk in. But that's not the point of this. The point of this is I can keep people company while they color too. Wow, it's already been 36 minutes. That's crazy. Goodness gracious. Apparently I have a lot of text messages. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, great. Nothing actually important. Could have figured it out, but I mean, there's stuff that's like important to me, but not like, oh my gosh, I need to reply to it right now. Which is my typical concern whenever I check my phone during class, is I always think that there's going to be a fire I need to put out. That is not the case. I am just typically in fear, and that is okay. Yeah. Goodness. I like saw this on the website that I was talking about earlier. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a cute design. And it's so simple too. And now that I'm coloring it, I'm like, my head is. I tend to be the kind of artist. I've been doing digital art again lately, so I have been drawing again. I don't know why I was whining about how come I miss it, because I've been doing it. But whenever I get to the line art part, so I'm like working on making the solid lines after I sketch, and like inking. Whenever I was working on that, the second I would like zoom in and change the angle, I would have no clue what I was looking at, and I literally am the person who drew it. So it's like, well, okay. It's not really that outlandish that I'm getting lost in the sauce when it's a coloring page I did not design. And it's also not even it's not even like oh, this is such a design flaw. It's like, oh, this is such a well done coloring page. Goodness gracious. No, like I said, this artist, Sarah Renee Clark, has so many cute pieces. I love it. Genuinely, it's so gorgeous. I am endlessly excited about all of her pieces that I'll be able to work with on y'all, or not on y'all, well, work on with y'all. There we go. Good words. Just because, like I said, there's a lot of cute ones that I feel like are great because they're like borderline, quote unquote, adult coloring pages, but also kind of a mix of like good for younger ages. So if you know, like if you have a little one in your life and you want them to color with you and make it like a family thing or something like that, that works perfect. But yeah. There we go. Oh yeah. It's all coming together. So I'm like trying to interpret what I'm looking at. I got you. Okay. I figured it out. Don't worry, guys. Is it tacky when I laugh at my own jokes on this live stream? I don't know. I think it's indicative of my personality, so it's fine. Because if you can't make yourself laugh, then why should anyone else laugh? That's what they told me in my comedy class. Which was a real class that I got real class credit for. Rut row. Oh yeah, that's cute. That's real cute. Okay. Trying to think of what else we can talk about. Because I'm like on a roll right now. Thank you, Jamie. I'm so glad you like my jokes. You're so sweet. But yeah. I don't know, man. I'm really excited. Next week, we've got 2 very, very special guests joining us, which will rock. Obviously, you'll have to wait and see whenever I announce next Wednesday who our guests shall be. But it's going to be awesome. Genuinely. Team up of the century. Not really. I mean, in my brain, it is. In someone else's brain, probably not. And that's okay. But it's quite cutesy. Could also do an episode of Colorway Wednesday with a really bad British accent. That'd be fine. Right? Doesn't everyone want to hear that? I think this is the color. Ooh, nope. One of the reasons I got on the whole side tangent earlier about the tips of these is the fine point has this little gray rim around it, which makes it where you can just easily identify without like looking at the tiny illustrations. And you can kind of more intuitively go, oh, okay, this is this one. Great. I figured it out. That is... I fully just put the wrong color on the wrong flower. That's okay. We'll make it work. This one will just have a little bit of shading. Unlike the others. I mean, I may add shading on the others. But salvaged. I was so confident that was right too. Oh no. Goodness gracious. That's not it. But the one I've been coloring with, isn't it? What? No? Okay. Oh well. I'm just confused. That's all right. As I always say, it adds to my charm. I mean, I don't always say that about that specifically, but you know, it's a strong contender. I'm probably going to wrap up here shortly, just because I'm like not fully, I don't have like a ton of things I can think of to talk about right now. And I don't want to like quote unquote waste anyone's time. I know people can easily just tune on and off of this, but I want to be mindful of that. Let's see. So I definitely still have a good chunk of a ways to go on this sheet. There is a lot still uncolored, which is okay. Because that's the beauty about coloring. You can kind of just stop it at some point and then go back to it. Whoa, what a novel idea. I was always really bad about that as a kid. I always kind of had the thought process of like, if I start it, I need to finish it, but I also would never do that. So it was like a very brutal mental toll for a 5-year-old with my like Did you ever have those invisible, what are they called? They're like coloring books, but they have the fancy little pens. So it's like invisible ink, allegedly. And it's like whenever you color over them with your fancy little pens, the actual colors get revealed and you're just like, ooh, magical. I loved those so much as a kid, but we were poor and couldn't afford them. That's not true. My mom thought we had better things to spend money on, and she was probably right. And besides, I did still get those as a kid, so it's not like I was like robbed. It's okay. I had a good childhood. At least I think I did. Okay. One more flower. I'm really bad about this whenever I'm on like solo episodes like this, being like, okay, well, I'm only going to do this much more, and then I'll go ahead and like call it a day. And then I'm like, well, I'd hate to just leave that there, so we're going to go ahead and do this as well. And I just like keep flipping between everything. That's okay. Again, it's part of my charm, everybody. And that is a-okay. I like to think of myself as like a Bob Ross of coloring pages, except if Bob Ross was a 22-year-old woman, and also had no live airtime, and also lived in Oklahoma, and also was a pageant girl. And so, like, I guess what I'm getting at is I'm actually nothing like Bob Ross. That's so goofy. If you don't know who Bob Ross is, I highly recommend you look him up. His show is incredible because it taught so many people how to paint. I don't recall if he was a good person or not, so if he wasn't, don't yell at me. Okay, great. I'm glad we agree on that. Okay. I'm probably going to call it there for now. I'm going to work on this more because we are almost at 50 minutes. Here's what I have so far. I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to probably try to finish it up before the end of tonight. It shouldn't be too difficult. But with that being said, thank you to everyone who joined me tonight. I'm incredibly thankful for your time. Remember to tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that jazz. And I shall see you all again soon. Bye.